The curtain opens on match week 3, and we head deep into Central North Carolina for the next chapter in this Southeast Division rivalry. Fresh off their first win of the season, Orlando City B hits the road to take on Carolina Core FC in search of the win column. Welcome inside Truist Point Stadium. Alongside our broadcast team, I'm Jake Griffith. Glad to have you alongside us. For Carolina Core, coming off a loss in their season opener against Atlanta United 2. However, this coaching staff feels like they did a lot well, just gave the game away to Atlanta United. The mistakes cost them. Trying to clean those mistakes up against a very aggressive Orlando City B side. One of the best teams in XG in MLS Next Pro this year, one of the more aggressive pressing teams. They got their first win of the season, but the biggest story for them is a new interim manager as we take a look at the starting 11 for Carolina Core and manager Donovan Ricketts going with a 4-3-3. Just 2 personnel changes, one of those coming in the midfield. Mehdi Zerkane there on the left side of your screen, the former AS Monaco Academy product, will get his first start in a Fox's shirt. He's a player that both Donovan Ricketts, their sporting director Eddie Pope, when they brought him in the offseason, they were very high on him. They feel like he can bring a lot of composure on the ball, and they're going to need that today against an Orlando City B side who, as mentioned, coming off the win against Chicago Fire 2, and interim manager Julian Vergara going with a 4-2-3-1. 5 personnel changes across this 11, including one at the back. But all eyes today are on Justin Ellis in the midfield. Ellis, he's got such great vision, had a goal last year against the Foxes. He can really unlock things with his passing. He can help them get vertical. He helps them in the press. And much like the aforementioned Mehdi Zerkane, for Orlando City B, Justin Ellis can also help them stay composed and maintain their defensive shape when back on their heels. All set to go here in High Point, North Carolina. Orlando City B, they've taken 9 of a possible last 12 points in this series between them and Carolina Core. They last met in September, a 3-3 draw that Orlando City B got the extra point in the penalty shootout, but the Foxes have been good in this venue against Orlando City B, unbeaten in back-to-back home fixtures, including in June of last year, a 1-0 win in which they allowed just 3 shots to Orlando City B. Lauren Aldrich is our center referee. It's Orlando City B in the yellow tops with the purple. Carolina Core in the light blue. Aldrich sounds the whistle, and we are underway in match week 3 here in MLS Next Pro. Carolina Core searching for their second ever home victory in club history. Last year in their, home opener victory. Had plenty of home wins, but last year won their home opener 5-0 against NYC FC. And they earned themselves a throw in here early on this near side as Jair Caiza, former Independiente Juniors man from Ecuador, tosses it back in. Plenty of new along this team sheet for Carolina Core this season. In fact, just 5 players who saw minutes return to the squad. 2 of those were signed in June or later, and here they work it back ahead. Here's Antonio Pineda. Sliding in at the last moment was Nicolas Lacheras, making his 3rd start of the season, and it concedes a corner early to Carolina Core. Sixth corner of the season for Core FC, who tallied 5 in the loss against Atlanta United 2. They scored 4 times last year off corners. That'll be Thomas Rambo, the former Wisconsin Badger, UCLA Bruin, native of New Zealand, will steer it in. Rambo, short to the near post, but the whistle from Aldrich will wash out the opportunity. Juan Rojas getting the start in goal. His first MLS Next Pro start of his young career. The 17-year-old Venezuelan. A high riser through the Orlando City Academy as he puts it back into play. Helped lead the Orlando City U18 Academy to a Generation Adidas Cup title. The aforementioned Rojas did, as there was a quick whistle and restarted even quicker by OCB. As mentioned at the top of our broadcast, Manuel Goldberg not roaming the touchlines today for Orlando City. He has moved up in an interim basis to the Orlando City SC first team. Former OCB manager Martin Perlman named interim manager after the club rather earlier this week parted ways with MLS manager Oscar Perea. Vergara himself, he's been with OCB for the last 3 seasons as the first assistant. He was the Orlando City Academy U13's head coach 2 seasons ago from 2023 to 2024. Is on the move now is Gustavo Caraballo. The build up here, promising for Orlando City B. Knocking on the door, trying to turn them away. And Carolina Core will do that. Ricardo Montenegro, former Inter Miami man, comes up with that possession. He's a player that Donovan Ricketts, manager for Core FC, talked at length about earlier this week. Called him an interesting guy. Says he doesn't talk a whole lot. He leads by example. It's plays like that Ricketts was referring to when leading by example, as Anthony Sumo Jr., one of the few returners from 2025, able to draw a whistle and a free kick here for the Foxes. Donovan Ricketts referring to this year's team for Carolina Core as a much different group than last year. Feels like they've assembled a team with both college and international experience. It's played a lot of games to this juncture. Whipped in toward goal. The target, Sumo Jr., loose on the doorstep, and sprawling on it is Rojas. Now Sumo Jr. goes to a knee, and this will draw another whistle. Looks like that left boot had just come off of Anthony Sumo Jr. It's a dangerous service into the mixer here. The defender was able to get ahead to it. Great vision on display there in the land of chaos in front of Juan Rojas. 94 career appearances for the Orlando City Academy, over 250 saves, 42 clean sheets for the 17-year-old former MLS Next All-Star in 2024. In the opposite net today is Trevor Jackson, former FC Dallas Academy product, making consecutive starts. 4 saves, 2 goals allowed against Atlanta United 2, as Caiza couldn't tightrope the touchline. And a change of possession will occur. Gustavo Caraballo will throw it in. Caraballo's had a strong start to his 2026, already an assist under his belt. He's appeared now in 3 matches, starting 2 of them, and is the team's leader in shots on target per 90 minutes. OCB with another toss in from the far touchline. Orlando City, a 2-1 win against Chicago Fire 2 at home to cap off back-to-back home fixtures to start the 2026 campaign. 7 shots on target. A goal in the 39th, a goal in the 72nd, as that switching pass intercepted by Pineda, former High Point and West Virginia University midfielder. More ball, the dual national between U.S. and Canada gave it up. Now Evers, the captain, plays it forward. On the move now, Nathan Brown on the right. He'll receive it, whips this cross in, and quickly thumped clear by Lacheras. Switch the field now, foot race. Looking forward to Jalen Yearwood, who couldn't run that down. Past Charles Orball. Now there's that high press again for Orlando City. It's Caraballo able to win it back and win a throw in as well. You look at the deeper advanced analytics from their win against Chicago Fire 2. A 10.5 passes per defensive action against Fire 2. Had 6 ball recoveries high up the field against the visitors from the Windy City in that contest. And now backing up for a long throw in is Harvey Sarajan. Strong toss into the 18, nodded wide. It falls to Caraballo. Still Caraballo trying to turn on it, and instead Lacheras will reset things. Yearwood wanted to funnel it forward, canceled out by Core FC. Comes OCB on the left-hand side. On the interchange, down low. Sliding in was Evers. Well, the real work begins. Brown can't clear the lines. Turned over at the back. The shot is blocked. Caraballo trying to win it back. Goes to ground, and he does. Here's Yearwood now. A lot of energy Orlando City B has come out with in the infancy of this contest. And another whistle. Orlando City B will earn themselves a free kick here in a decently promising position early into this contest. We've already seen a lot of stoppages so far, be it fouls, an injury, what have you. It's created some disjointed play to start this contest. Nonetheless, Orlando City B, they have been the more intense team to this point, less than 10 minutes in. Caraballo, the trigger man, whips it to that far post, pinballing around, now headed to Judelson, hit off the volley. A save made by Trevor Jackson, his first of the afternoon. Driven forward by Kaiza, finding Anthony Sumo Jr. Shakes off one would-be challenge. Now, once the cross, it's blocked out by Yearwood, and another corner here for Carolina Core. Some dangerous services so far on set pieces. This one of them for Orlando City. Off the half volley. Orlando City Academy man Logan Sopanoglu in his second appearance of the season, striking that well. Rambo will head back to the corner flag on this near side. Former college teammate of San Jose Earthquakes keeper Nathan Crockford. And former RSL, now USL League One man, Tommy Silva. Really talented UCLA roster that was. This driven in by Rambo. Outswinging ball headed toward goal, and it's stopped by Juan Rojas. Dangerous pass back to the keeper. Some troubles with it now. Knocked down by Rambo. There's David Diaz now, former Ventura County FC man, tries to cross it in, and it's another corner for Carolina Core. Already 3, less than 15 minutes in. Donovan Ricketts had said last year for the Foxes that they do put a lot of emphasis on being a dominant set-piece team. You can see a lot of those tendencies carrying over into the infancy of 2026. The New Zealander Rambo, 20 goal contributions in his college career. This time plays the short option. Give it back to Rambo. Second ball served in. Glancing header. That'll go wide. And a goal kick awarded to Juan Rojas. Earlier this week, Orlando City SC General Manager Ricardo Moreira was asked by the media why make the change so early into the MLS season. What made Martin Perlman the good fit to be interim manager, and he had said that Perlman, a more offensive-minded coach, likes a high-pressing style. And you can see some of those tactics showing up today. Manuel Goldberg very tactically aligned with a guy like Martin Perlman. It's quickly thrown back in. Orlando City continuing to just try to move as quickly as possible with this. Excellent job by Zerkani to clear up some space, able to find Pineda. There's a whistle here, and it's a foul against Core FC. Antonio Pineda stays down after that challenge, and Lauren Aldrich will motion the trainers on. This is what resulted in the stoppage. You see Pineda there in the center of your screen, 15 in the light blue, trying to just swim around Jalen Yearwood. Antonio Pineda, 8 appearances, 6 starts last year after coming over to this Core FC team in August of 2025. Also recorded 2 assists in less than 600 minutes of play. 26 years old, has a lot of good pro experience under his belt. Spent some time with the Richmond Kickers in USL League One back in 2024. Prior to joining Core FC at the start of 2025, played for Hickory FC in the UPSL. Was the league's Golden Ball winner that year with 7 goals. And also named conference MVP. Trainers continuing to assess the status of Pineda, and now helped back to his feet. You can see him laboring very clearly, 15 there. Despite the knock to Pineda, it will be a free kick for Orlando City B, which was a point of consternation for the Foxes as Pineda laid there on the turf surface. Pineda will head off to the Carolina Core touchline. At this moment in time, Core FC electing not to make a change. So the Foxes, at least at this point, not at full strength out there on the pitch. But you saw Antonio Pineda hobbled very obviously as he made his way over to the bench. There is some movement over there for Core FC. And there will officially be a change. As Dylan John, the 19-year-old Jamaican, will come on. An early substitution needed as Antonio Pineda unable to continue on.
Substitution for Carolina Core FC presented by Blue Rock Pizza. Entering the match is number 80, Dylan John. Leading the match is number 15, Antonio Pineda.
Dylan John played just 6 minutes against Atlanta United 2. Now comes on early into this contest.
In the 16th minute, presented by Blue Rock.
Go Forth Home Services is a proud signature partner of CCFC. Founded in the Carolina Core in 1959, Go Forth Home Services is our region's trusted provider for your home service needs, including pest control, heating and cooling, plumbing, and smart technologies. Good combination to free up Yearwood here, trying to spring OCB free, and he does. So Panaglu looking to roll it in behind to Yearwood, and just a step too slow as Trevor Jackson will scoop that up. Against Chicago Fire, too, Orlando City B, they favored that left-hand side of things. They do like to build out from the back, utilize their keeper in build-ups with the distribution, but they really loved creating overloads on the left last match week against Chicago Fire. So far, it's been the right-hand side that they have had some success in against Core FC. No options going forward. Rojas has to move it quickly. John able to knock that off the boots of Yearwood and out. It'll stay on this end for Carolina Core throw-in. Ricketts earlier this week when I had a chance to catch up with him, and reflecting on how this team compares to last year's squad that made the playoffs, lost in the first round to eventual champions Red Bull New York 2. Ricketts, he said that they sought out in the offseason, he and Eddie Pope and the rest of the front office here at Core FC, to put together an even more experienced team. One of the things he thought last year of his team was it took a couple weeks for them in the season and the preseason to learn how to be professionals. They weren't a super experienced team coming into the year, really grew together as the season went on and worked their way up the Eastern Conference table. It feels like this team doesn't have that problem. You look at players like not just the 5 returners that came back from a season ago, but you look at the aforementioned Mehdi Zerkane, Ricardo Montenegro, good experience at the MLS Next Pro level, spent 3 seasons with Inter Miami. Charles Orbal getting the start today at center back. He played over in Croatia last year, 12 appearances in the Croatian Professional League. Plenty of that littered all across the roster here this season for Carolina Core. This is headed along and worked back down by OCB. Sarajan couldn't corral that ball in. And now another whistle here from Lauren Aldrich. Long pass up ahead, looking to find John on the restart. And there's another whistle. She's playing out of the back again. Zerkane will roll it ahead. Here's Sumo Jr. and a reflex save. Out it goes for another corner. Carolina Core have had no shortage of them. They themselves have used some high pressure up the field to create some chaos in the back end of things for Orlando City B. Fourth corner of the afternoon coming. It'll be Rambo again. First, though, Lauren Aldrich has to separate some bodies in the penalty area. Fox is looking for the breakthrough. It's Rambo. Out swinging service, deflected off a defender. It falls to John. Now popped out wide and pushed over the bar by Diaz. A frantic moment there defensively for Orlando City B. And at the end of it, a player down. This takes just a fortuitous bounce here off the back heel of Gustavo Caraballo. Good find from Dylan John. Right there on that far post was David Diaz, former Central Valley Fuego man of USL. It's been 2024 with Ventura County. Put that one home to break through. whistle here from our center referee. Rainbow having some words with Lauren Aldrich there. It's been a frustrating start to this fixture for both teams. Both of them continuing to seek that elusive opening goal here. Closing in on the half-hour mark. Now Sumo Jr. will clatter into the defender in Lacheras, and Sumo Jr. will go into the book. Anthony Sumo Jr. asking for an explanation. And you can see the reaction on his face. Not thrilled with the booking. It'll be Rojas to resume play. Jan Yearwood's been active over on this right-hand channel so far. He's put a lot of pressure on the Carolina core defense, making his second start of the season, third appearance. They're going to find Judelson off the throw-in. They're going to connect back to Yearwood, and instead cleared away by Dylan John. Atrium Health Wake Forest Baptist is proud to be the official healthcare provider of Carolina Core FC. One of the areas Core FC trying to be a bit more improved in this year, as Orlando City B will switch it to try to free up some space, is trying to be a bit less one note in the attack. Last year, there's another whistle for a foul, that time against David Diaz, and quickly restarted by Orlando City B. They tried to just play direct soccer a bit too often and sometimes couldn't find on the receiving end of those long passes a teammate. Now here is Orlando City B. The cross in, going on the receiving end. It falls to Yearwood, who cuts it back inside. Rolled ahead. Ellis now. Tangled up with two defenders was Ellis. Lions able to dislodge that ball. Here's Caraballo wheeling around. Laid off, here's Ellis looking to get it back out wide. Just out of the reach of Caraballo. It won't matter though. Tapped out of play. And a corner coming. Right there, a prime example of what Orlando City B does so well. Not just as an organization, but this OCB team in particular. When they're able to get numbers high, they're able to win that ball high up the pitch. They get themselves into good spots. They have so much speed, so much athleticism. Some great young players with vision like Justin Ellis, who helped set this corner up with that probing ball in. It'll be Caraballo from the far flag. One assist so far this season. Caraballo's service swings out. And there's another whistle. Distribution there from Jackson, quickly gobbled up by Yearwood. Caraballo defeated to Yearwood, was denied in doing so, and now a free kick given to Orlando City B. The angle good here for Caraballo, who could take this on himself. Lions will crowd that far edge of the box, there to the left side of the frame. Gustavo Caraballo, the youngest ever homegrown signing in club history. Caraballo will take it himself and fires it over the bar and out. Core FC with 5 shots so far in this contest, 2 on target. They have held the Lions' attack in check, despite field tilt favoring Orlando City B right now. 55% possession for OCB. Stepping up with it was David Diaz, and he'll lay it off. Now back to Diaz. Too heavy of a touch. Whipped ahead, it's Sumo Jr. back toward goal. Trying to hold things up, but Orlando City B right now utilizing their midfielders to overwhelm Core FC. Now Sumo Jr. off the giveaway, rolled ahead, here's John. Trying to tightrope that in line and cannot. A bit what Donovan Ricketts was talking about coming off the loss against Atlanta United 2. Meanwhile, there was a whistle right after that ball went out. A yellow card doled out to Orlando City B, and this will give Carolina Core FC a free kick in the meantime. Titus Sandy Jr. demanded an explanation from Lauren Aldrich. Not seen much offense in this first half so far, but plenty of action in terms of Lauren Aldrich's book. Montenegro and Rambo both shadow over this ball. It'll be Rambo, lobs it out wide, quickly headed away, trying to strike it off the volley. It falls to Montenegro, still in front, and off his line comes Rojas again. Impressive performance turned in so far from the young Juan Rojas. 3 saves so far in this first half. Living up to those high expectations they have for him internally in this club. Turned over again. That's been a theme so far in this first half for OCB. Played through now. Here's Kaiza taking it wide, wanting the cross. And another corner here for Core FC. That's been their bread and butter under Donovan Ricketts, carrying into the wide spaces and trying to whip balls back across the face of goal. Orlando City B, they recognize that, but it hasn't been enough defensively to prevent a mountain of set pieces so far. Here is the last save from Juan Rojas, just on the doorstep. Again, falling to Anthony Sumo Jr. Play back underway off the corner now. Second ball served in, and it's headed down and past Juan Rojas in. Anthony Sumo Jr., the breakthrough he has been seeking all day. 1-0 Carolina Core. Off the set piece, clever little training ground move here. The give back to Rambo. You could feel it building for the Foxes. Eventually, one of those second balls in would find its way past Juan Rojas. And it's Anthony Sumo Jr., the beneficiary, nodding it home. They were so good a season ago against Orlando City B in the first half. 3 of their 5 goals scored in the opening 45 minutes against the Lions last year across 3 matches, and they strike first again in the opening half. Sumo Jr. on the board in 2026. Possibility starts at Skyla Credit Union. See what your money can do at skylacu.com. Core FC looking for more. Their defense has been very stout so far. Been able to keep their shape, which has been rigid. Utilize that midfield. led by players like Mehdi Zerkane and Thomas Rambo. Well, here they come again. That cross in took a deflection off the boots of Kaiza, and finally into the midst of Juan Rojas. Back on their heels are Orlando City B. This puts right into the spotlight one of those non-negotiables that interim manager Julian Vergara had talked about earlier this week. I had a chance to catch up with him, and it's this team wanting to be adaptable. One of the things Manu Goldberg had said at the start of the 2026 season, prior to their fixture against Huntsville City, was that they went sort of back to the basics. They want to keep it simple through the opening few weeks in terms of the messaging and the tactics passed along from these coaches. But Vergara had talked about that this team, as young as they are, they do have a lot of experience under their belts. They have to, even in the face of adversity, find ways to adapt. Right now, struggling to adapt a bit as this first half has gone on to some of the aggressiveness we've seen from this older, a bit more physical Carolina core team. The Fox is on the move now. From distance, blocked away. David Diaz's effort won't make its way through. There's Justin Ellis now. Ellis tripped up from behind there by Evers. OCB will restart play. Justin Ellis, a player that Julian Vergara, he talked about this week. A lot of high praise from everybody across this organization for the Orlando City homegrown and MLS Next top scorer in the U18 group last season. As the clearance from Juan Rojas deflected away. Vergara said the biggest thing that Ellis has been working on this offseason, they know the talent he has, it's just about fine-tuning some of those movements off the ball for him. It's worked ahead by Ellis to Caraballo, rolled back through, inside, deflecting around. Lions pleading for a penalty, they won't get it. Now countering is Carolina core. Rambo electing to slow things up. They didn't have the numbers. Here's Diaz. He'll whip this ball toward goal. Got a fingertip to it, Rojas did. Dangerous probing ball back in. On the opposite end, this was what Orlando City B was looking for a penalty out of. You see Justin Ellis there, center of your frame, near that penalty spot, adamant that that should have been a whistle. Would lead to the other end. Carolina core having the opportunity off the throw in, and now a whistle from Lauren Aldrich. This Orlando City B staff, mainly Julian Vergara, they knew coming in that the independent teams in MLS Next Pro, they tend to trend older, a bit more experienced, a bit more physical. He also acknowledged that Core FC, they're such a tough out at home here at Truist Point Stadium. He said that Orlando City B must stay organized and aggressive in order to pull out the 3 points this afternoon. We've seen the aggressiveness, especially early on, from the Lions. As this first half has gone on, some of that organization has faltered just a touch. Sumo Jr, the goal scorer for the Foxes, is down. And now another whistle here. In the melee of all of that, Bernardo Ryan was sent into the book. Julian Vergara there on the right side of the screen. And all black demanding an explanation from the fourth official, from our center referee. And now another yellow handed out, that time to the Orlando City B technical area. Well, this has been a chaotic first half, not just because of the chances, the goal that was scored a few minutes ago. We've seen a lot of yellows handed out. It's not just Orlando City B that's awash in yellow today. On the underlapping run, looking for Rambo, who goes sliding out of play. And it will be another corner here for the Foxes. Rambo's been the point man on these set pieces today. Whips it in again, out swinging, headed wide. Second ball served in by Rambo, and that goes right into the hands of Juan Rojas. Orlando City B trying to regain some of that form we saw of theirs in the opening few minutes of this contest. Some of their frustration spilling over a bit in terms of cards and just not being able to consistently put opportunities together. On the give and go, it found its way to Nathan Brown, and Brown's service is cut out. And it will be another corner here late in this first half for Carolina Core. That will make it 6 corners, just 1 so far for Orlando City B. Into the short option, Montenegro now serve that ball back in. Glancing header toward goal. Lost to the feet of Kaiza. Now back ahead, it's Dylan John. John across goal and cleared out again. Orlando City B just can't get out of this end right now. Orlando City B coaching staff, they had talked in the run-up to this match about them wanting to be the dominant set-piece team, not just against Carolina Core, but this season in general. And now they have not been. It's Carolina Core dominating the set-piece game. 2 free kicks. This their 6th corner of the day. Rambo again goes back to the well. Flipped up high in the air toward Rojas. Underneath it, he makes the grab through traffic. Busy halftime report coming up here from High Point, North Carolina. We'll look at some stats. We'll look at schedule around the league. A busy Sunday slate in MLS Next Pro, including in the Eastern Conference. Things kicking off between Philadelphia Union, Connecticut United. There is one game in the Western Conference later tonight at 10 p.m. So take a look at some great stories around MLS Next Pro as well. Coming up next on the halftime report. First, though, still about 4 minutes plus added time before we get to that halftime whistle from Lauren Aldrich. John trying to get past Yearwood, unable to. Carolina Core, this serving as their tune-up match, so to speak, ahead of their 3rd consecutive appearance in the U.S. Open Cup. That coming up Thursday of next week. They'll face Virginia Dream, an MPSL side, on Thursday evening here at Truist Point Stadium. Justin Ellis went down, drawing a whistle from Lauren Aldrich. It was 2 seasons ago that this Carolina Core team made a pretty deep run, so to speak, in the U.S. Open Cup for MLS Next Pro side. Made it to the 3rd round before falling in that third round. Lost to North Carolina FC of the USL, then of the USL, as Lauren Aldrich will restart things and have Orlando City B retake this free kick. Jonelson steers it forward. Funneled ahead. Here's Caraballo centrally, turning, looking to lead the way into Ellis. Right idea. And you see the thumbs up there from Justin Ellis. Just a bit too much weight behind that ball. One of the things that Julian Vergara talked about this week is the pass back toward Trevor Jackson, forcing him off his line. He felt like that Orlando City B, they have such good quality on the ball. They know they're going to have some opportunities today. They just haven't been able to consistently put that final pass together. Meanwhile, here's Diaz stepping past the defender. The cutback into Rambo. Rambo rifles it wide. Diaz has been a terror over there on that right-hand side of the attack. That time, an expert cutback, all alone inside. Thomas Rambo. This is an area that Orlando City B have had some struggles in, playing out of the back, which has traditionally been their signature strength. Taken away again. Sumo Jr. now rolled over to John from distance, parried away. Rojas got a paw to it. Sumo Jr. starting things by sliding it over to John. Then top of the area, it's Diaz again. 9th corner of the day coming up here. And they take it quickly, the Foxes do. Served and headed toward goal and palmed away again by Rojas. How about this ball right here? Nathan Brown putting it on a platter. The target was Orbaugh. A towering header. Juan Rojas, despite conceding the opener, continuing to stand on his head. That is save number 4 of the afternoon so far. Rambo this time cuts it back, top of the area to Kaiza. Back to Rambo. Has support on the overlap. Rambo drives it in. Like Orlando City B, Carolina Core, a team last year and against Orlando, or rather against Atlanta, a build from the back team to open their season. They cough it up in the back though. There's Bashevsky, he'll shovel it forward. The cross in, falls out the other side to Caraballo, well defended by Brown. And now looking to turn this upfield is Rambo. He does, springing the Foxes free. Sumo Jr. has one today, heads to the end line, in front, cleared away. Carolina Core, they've done a good job in this first half as we have 5 minutes of added time here at the end of the 45. The Foxes have done a good job of speeding Orlando City B up, not allowing them to settle into this style of posture that they do like. Having a moment to breathe, having a moment to pick their spots going forward. One headed out by Nolan Evers, the former Stanford Cardinal, captaining this Core FC team. Orbaugh heads the throw in away. And now thumped clear by Evers again. Turned over off the throw in, and with pace, here comes Core FC. Won't matter, the flag is up. Anthony Sumo Jr. just by a hair offside. One thing Orlando City B haven't utilized that they have in their toolkit, that ability to find these switching passes, rotate the defense around and take the teeth out of that press. There's some green space ahead for Caraballo. Ellis, this pass took a deflection, was cut out there by Zerkane. Now Titus Sandy Jr., no choice but to steer that one toward the touchline, and ultimately it goes out. Julian Vergara had some good praise this week for Titus Sandy Jr. Called him a player that the guys in the locker room look to for leadership. Feels like he's a reliable guy. They can always count on him. Good link up there on the far side between Sumo Jr. and Rambo. Rambo still with it, trying to free space. Can't get past Dylan Judelson though. Give it up rather to Montenegro instead. It'll be Dominic Bishevsky, the Orlando City Academy product, who will throw in and elects to defer to a teammate for said throw in. Here's Sandy Jr., the former Clemson Tiger, signed in August of last year. Ultimately made 6 appearances, played over 300 minutes. He's gone the distance in back-to-back matches to open up 2026. Ball cut wide across the pitch. Here comes Orlando City B, the cutback. Ellis fumbles with it. He's unable to get a good first touch on that one, and it forces a clearance away. Going back in, here's Sarajan now. Advantage quickly played. Sarajan wanting the cutback. And instead, it's a goal kick. Sarajan already 2 goal contributions on the young season, 5 chances created coming into this match. The team leader in chances created. Just mere seconds away from the halftime whistle from Lauren Aldrich here in High Point, North Carolina. Anthony Sumo Jr., his 31st minute goal, the difference maker so far. A very Carolina core-centric opening half. 13 shots, 5 shots on target. Aldrich sounds the whistle for another foul given. Sandy Jr. puts it back into play, and there is the halftime whistle. The home side, Carolina core, a slim advantage despite a dominant statistical opening half. They lead it at the break. The Foxes do 1-0. Coming up at halftime, the rumors are true. Danny Rojas from the Ted Lasso Show has been in camp. Plus, the pathway's not restricted to players as some assistant coaches and head coaches have made their way up to the coaching tree within MLS clubs. All that and more as we start our halftime report after a short break.
be a fun season of MLS Next Pro. Wins it!
Our halftime score from High Point, North Carolina, 1-0 in favor of Core FC. There have been a number of coaches who have started with the youth to the MLS Next Pro side and are now assistant or even head coaches in MLS. Let's meet a player who had a decision to make after his career between the lines and decided to give it back as a coach. We head to North Texas and chat with Matt Hedges.
Very excited to be here officially. I helped out a little bit last year. I really enjoyed my time working with the players, working with the staff. So I'm glad to be able to be on the staff full time and be involved. Towards the end of my career, I started thinking about what I wanted to do. Post playing, and coaching was something that for a while I didn't know if I wanted to do it. When my kids started to get a little bit older and I started doing it with them, I started enjoying it, and I thought I had a lot of knowledge that I could pass down to young players. That was kind of an easy decision after thinking about it. There's lots of different things that I can teach them from my career, but also the mentality, the intensity, the winning mentality is what I want to bring to the young guys, because they're going to need that. I played at a high level college, and I was still a little bit overwhelmed when I first got here, and it's the adaptation. If you don't do it quick at that time, then you were kind of out of the system. But now I think, especially with the academy and bringing those guys up and then moving into a environment like MLS Next Pro with North Texas, then I think it's a big jump in the quality of everything that is involved with this, and I think it's huge for developing players. I think there used to be a lot of guys who kind of got pushed out of the system if it wasn't working right away, but now those guys maybe get a second chance and can develop into good players. Yeah, it feels good. I mean, it feels like home. Like you said, I've been here for a long time. I know a lot of people here. I knew John beforehand. I knew a lot of the other staff beforehand, and even some of the players I still know. So it's just nice to be back in a familiar environment and be able to give these players my knowledge. This year, I think my goal is to improve our defensive solidarity. Obviously, I want to try to improve individually the players in the defensive line, help them improve their tendencies. But as a unit, I want our group to be solid and to give up less goals. That's always the goal. And for me, that was my big thing as a player throughout my career. I always wanted to give up less goals, and I think that's something I want to pass on to these defensive players.
Welcome back. It's 1-0 in favor of Carolina Core FC. Well, it's not an act. One of your favorite Ted Lasso actors did in fact make an appearance at a camp and can play. We tracked him down to talk about the experience with Chicago Fire.
Hola, hola, this is Cristo Fernandez, and we're here at the new facilities in Chicago Fire. Very happy and grateful to be here. I know I've been doing more acting and filmmaking these last couple of years. I would have never imagined how life was gonna turn for me. Never imagined that with my new dreams of film and acting, football, soccer was gonna be the thing that was gonna open them for me. I say this because I've always missed football, soccer. That's my first love. The level is very intense, young upcoming players, so lots of potential in this club. I can say that this is world-class level. I played professionally back home in Guadalajara. We didn't have this level of world-class facilities. I think the club is doing something great for both the city, the team, the players. It's a dream come true for anyone to be here, so for me it's also a dream come true to be here now, and I am grateful for the opportunity. What has surprised me is the level of the team. I've seen both the first team, the second team, the players, they're doing something great. And what surprised me as well is the quality of the people, very nice people. And that also says a lot about the club, and I think that's very important. It's been really nice getting back to the field, training, and really giving my best and believing I still can play this professionally, and we'll see where the dream takes us. But it's been really nice.
Great stuff there from Chicago, and hey, like the saying goes, taking on a challenge, a lot like riding a horse. If you're comfortable, you're probably doing it wrong, so says Ted Lasso. Well, as our halftime continues, let's reintroduce our newest club in 2026, Connecticut United.
This is Connecticut's newest club, built for the entire state, not just one city.
Connecticut's a pretty culturally diverse state. Doesn't really have one major city. There's a bunch of small cities that are pretty close to each other.
Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome to the stage the founding partner of Connecticut Sports Group, Mr. Andre Swanston.
I remember feeling like, okay, it's on now, because talk is cheap. A lot of people say, oh, you know, I'm going to own the team, and da-da-da. You hear that all day, every day, everywhere. And so it kind of, you know, it was late 2023 when kind of everything went through. We knew it was approved and it was going to happen. And it was just kind of, Michelle and I were like, all right, okay, it's on now, like, let's go.
I want to thank all of you who have made today possible and who worked tirelessly behind the scenes to bring these ideas to life, including the entire team from the Connecticut Sports Group.
Before the first professional match, the foundation was already in motion. In 2024, CT United launched its professional academy.
We started our academy first because we wanted to, one, make CT United tangible to the community and so they could see it, touch it, feel it, that we're here.
One of my first conversations with Andre and Michelle, when I met with them and we started discussing, you know, their vision and what they wanted for their football team in the state of Connecticut, the ambitions, they're breaking down the barriers for giving kids opportunities to play in the academy. Once you have that idea, then I think it becomes pretty clear in terms of now bringing in the right people in your staff and to start to identify the right type of players you want to come in.
It starts in MLS Next, and it continues in MLS Next Pro.
I think we're headed in the right direction. You know, we have a good group of guys. Coaching staff is alive and ready. And I think we're just pushing towards, you know, the start of the season and looking to have a good season.
We knew that we wanted a team that was entertaining. We wanted a team that was going to dominate with the ball and against the ball. A team that looked to play forward, a team that is aggressive.
They're entertaining players, man. I mean, I'm really excited being in the league for 4 years and seeing the group that we're gathering together makes me happy.
What the ownership and the sporting director laid out to me, we had a couple of calls before I decided to join the team. It was very ambitious. I like what they have planned for the team, and I like the future, and I want to be part of this project. We have a lot of young players, so I know we're going to be very energetic. We're all here to learn, to get better, and you know, when you're young, your brain is like a sponge.
So, here's the standard.
Connecticut is used to winning. We've got to show them like we're playing for real, like we're not messing around. And then also I think with being the only black owner in the league, like I'm not losing, right? Like I refuse to make it seem like I can't build something that can compete on the level.
Back in High Point, North Carolina, halftime rolls on. It's 1-0 in favor of Carolina Core FC. Just 2 matches today, this one of 2 on this beautiful Saturday afternoon as we take a look at our Sunday scores from last week. Some great action, including Orlando City B getting their first win of the season against Chicago Fire 2. Red Bull New York, the defending champions, taking down the other half of the Florida Derby 3-0. New England going to a marathon penalty shootout last Sunday against Toronto FC 2. New England Revolution, 4 points, a pair of shootout wins to open the season for Pablo Morera. Under new management is New England Revolution 2. As we take a look at our upcoming schedule, plenty of contests to keep your eye on. Specifically, that 7 p.m. game between Crown Legacy and Inter Miami 2. Is there a hotter team in MLS Next Pro than Crown Legacy? Probably not. 11 goals scored already this season, including 7 last match week against Huntsville City. As for our match, let's catch you up on how we got to this point with our halftime highlights. It was a first half that was dominated by Carolina Core in terms of the statistical categories. Finished with 9 corners, had 3 free kicks, some dangerous free kicks, including one here for Orlando City B. Off that half volley and saved by Trevor Jackson, one of 2 saves for him. Anthony Sumo Jr., he's been a force to be reckoned with so far in this first half. 4 shots for Sumo Jr. This one of the 9 corners for Carolina Core takes a bounce off the back heel of Caraballo. Maybe Diaz can't fire it home. Then they short the corner here on the near side, give it back to Rambo. This one finds the noggin of Anthony Sumo Jr., and that time he does get it past Juan Rojas. That in the 31st minute made it 1-0. Core FC would push hard to find a second goal. That effort from Diaz parried aside. Plenty of saves in that first half, including this one for Juan Rojas, who finished the opening half with 4 saves. Those are your highlights, and that's your score, 1-0 in favor of Carolina Core. We'll head back to break. Second half when we return to High Point.
Should be a fun season of MLS Next Pro.
Boys hear sentiment, flow tastes sweet like cinnamon. Open up doors, I'm a gentleman. View top floor, I'm still sticking ahead of them. Running on fumes and adrenaline. Do what I do best, can't rush in like a roulette. You can't name a better duet. Don't ask questions, trying to figure out what sound. Don't worry about what next, just wanna know what's next. Man, I say it so loud, don't worry about what next. Just know we got now, oh yes. Man, I say it oh so proud. Don't worry about what next, just know we got now.
Moments away from the second 45 minutes here in High Point, North Carolina. The Foxes of Carolina Core on top of Orlando City B, 1-0. 1 half of play down, 1 half to go as 3 points hang in the balance between these Southeast Division foes. It was Anthony Sumo Jr., a goal in the 31st minute that broke things open, and that is where we stand for Orlando City B. A bit short-handed this afternoon. Zachariah Taifi, Colin Gusky, both with the first team this evening for Orlando City SC as they'll take on CF Montreal, but also Pedro Leal not with this team as well. Leal has had a real hot start to the 2026 campaign. The team's leader in shots per 90 minutes, has a goal to his credit. And something that was pointed out on Twitter by one of the local media outlets that covers this Orlando City organization, the Loud and Proud Orlando podcast. That speculation that Leal could potentially be with the first team tonight. There's been no confirmation to this juncture, but Leal, a player that this Orlando City B team has relied on through their first 2 fixtures, brings a lot of pace, had some good opportunities that he couldn't put home against Huntsville City. Did get on the score sheet though against Chicago Fire too, and you can tell OCB in the attack today, they're missing a bit of that creativity out of Leal. Also not having a talented player like Zachariah Taifi, the Orlando homegrown, won the 2021 MLS Next Cup with the Orlando City U17s. And you can tell those are guys that this club missing a bit today, trying to get on the right foot to start the second half. Lauren Aldrich sounds the whistle, and we're back underway for half number 2 in North Carolina. It's at Truist Point Stadium. Carolina Core enjoying a 1-0 lead over Orlando City B. Possession split 50-50 in that opening half, but 14 shots for Carolina Core. 5 shots on target, neither team making a change at the halftime intermission. OCB will have an early throw in here. Some of the speed in which Carolina Core played at in that first 45 minutes did make Orlando, as the half went on, a bit uncomfortable. Carolina Core really grew into that first half, started getting more and more numbers higher up the pitch when Orlando would try to build out from the back. Last year, Orlando was so calm under pressure. And they seem calm right now to start this opening, the second 45 minutes rather. There's Bernardo Ryan, picked up a yellow card in that opening 45. Back to Titus Sandy Jr. Numbers starting to collapse in on OCB and Ryan, who has no choice but to steer it back to Juan Rojas. 4 saves in the opening half for Juan Rojas in his first next pro start. Goes. OCB will have the throw. Struggled away from home last year. Orlando City B did. Finished with second fewest road wins in the Eastern Conference. Here is Zerkani now trying to lift it in. Does. Headed away. Clearance falls back to the feet of Carolina Core. It's Rambo now. Knifing around. Played back through. Montenegro 2-0. Ricardo Montenegro, the former Inter Miami man, now for Carolina Core, dashing the hopes of his former rival. It's good individual effort here. Rambo just turning the defense around, finding the open man, and Ricardo Montenegro, who does the rest, slipping it past Juan Rojas. First career goal for the Florida native. Carolina Core picking up where they left off in half number 1. This puts Orlando City B back on their heels even more. Will sound the whistle and bring things to a screeching halt here. There was a collision just off frame on the right side of the screen, and you see 80 in light blue, Dylan John, who had to come into this contest about 10 minutes in due to an injury to Antonio Pineda, who could not continue on. Slow to get back up off the turf surface. Donovan Ricketts there watching on, and he's asking for an explanation from Lauren Aldrich. Won't get one to his satisfaction. Ricketts, the former goalkeeper coach for the Foxes in 2024, before being promoted in October of that year. Was the second manager in the club's history. MLS goalkeeper of the year with LA Galaxy. There's Donovan Ricketts. At the halftime, former players giving back to young, developing future MLS stars, and Donovan Ricketts trying to do the same here, leading Carolina Core into a successful era. Trevor Jackson relatively quiet afternoon so far for Jackson, just 2 saves. A real credit to the defense in front of him. Haven't allowed much through to Jackson. The aforementioned Ricketts had some high praise for Trevor Jackson. He joked that he's a big body, compared him to himself actually in terms of their player profile, in terms of their size. So Jackson takes up a lot of the net, comes over after spending some time in the German 6th tier in Lower Saxony with Eintracht Nordhorn. Zerkani trying to force his way through, and instead puts a shoulder into Nicholas Lacheras, who stays down, and a card will come out, an early one at that, into the second half. Keep an eye right here in the center of your screen. 5 in light blue going right through Lacheras, the Orlando City Academy man. Physicality has been a big theme so far. Already the 4th yellow card handed out by Lauren Aldrich. It also represents the 22nd foul that has been whistled for. But that's to be expected when 2 Southeast Division foes lock up. These teams, they see each other 3 times every season. As the old adage goes, familiarity breeds contempt. No love lost between Orlando City B and Carolina Core. Not a derby, but still crucial points on the line between 2 divisional foes. Here comes Carolina Core. Good build up here. It's promising. They'll switch it back over. It's Dylan John now. John shuffling to the end line. John cuts it back. And it's picked up by Juan Rojas. Donovan Ricketts had called the loss against Atlanta United too, not just a learning experience, but he walked away from that one and said he felt like Carolina Core did a lot of good things. They set a great groundwork for the season. So he was encouraged by the team's attitude and the team's fight. He challenged them this week to build on that performance, and safe to say they have done just that to this juncture. Just an overwhelming effort so far for Carolina Core. Thumped up ahead, Sumo Jr. could not best Titus Sandy Jr. It'll be Nathan Brown, acquired in February by this club, played in the U.S. Open Cup last year, just 1 appearance for Southern Indiana FC. Prior to that time in NISA with Michigan Stars. Fox is starting to bunch up on this right-hand side, and they do cough it up. Change of possession will occur via the Bernardo Ryan throw in. One thing, when you go back and watch that match between Orlando City B and Chicago Fire too, one thing that stands out is there's a lot of, not just intentionality behind the passing, as we have a whistle here, but they were whipping that ball around, moving it around with a lot of pace, a lot of quickness. Didn't allow Chicago's defense to get set based on the speed in which they were moving. Not able to replicate some of that effort so far today, Orlando City B. This, though, a good connection on the link-up play. Yearwood quickly dissolving, though. A good job by Mehdi Zerkane to run back. Zerkane is such an interesting player in terms of his profile. Played just 20 minutes in Carolina Core's opener against Atlanta United as a late second half substitution, but came out of the AS Monaco Academy system, 16 appearances for Monaco's B side from 2017 to 2019. The ball slipped through here. Kaiza gave it up. Now Sumo Jr., who's really been their talisman so far, trying to push past the defender and instead whistled for a foul. Going back to Zerkane, though. He's bounced all around the world prior to coming over here to America and MLS Next Pro. Some time with Bordeaux, in France, in Greece with OFI. Has one international cap with the Algerian senior national team back in 2020. Coughed up again in the midfield. David Diaz with it now. Diaz looking for help, finds it in Nathan Brown now. Brown drives it across goal. Falls out the other side. Here's John. Nice moves here looking for the cross. Instead deflected, and it falls to Caraballo. As a proud sponsor of Carolina Core, Duderman Law Group knows the value of teamwork. And with the Duderman team behind you, you'll have the power to win the injury compensation you deserve. Duderman Law Group, a passion for justice, the experience to win. Since the opening few minutes, we haven't seen Orlando City B able to get organized and set in their pressing shape. But there, just a moment ago, you saw a good look at it. Julian Vergara wanting to press in that 2-3 style shape. The offside flag did come up on the ball forward, and this will give Carolina Core an opportunity to make a change. One change coming on for the Foxes, their second of the day. Mohamed Diakite from the Ivory Coast on for the first time this season. Off comes Mehdi Zerkane. Diakite, a player who was with Carolina Core a season ago. Let's see a ton of action, was signed late in the campaign. Diakite coming on for the first time in 2025 as we close in on the hour mark here. Turned over, more issues at the back for OCB. Sumo Jr. tried to do a bit too much with it. He has a goal to his credit today, a first half goal that opened things up. Ricardo Montenegro, a 48th minute goal, moments into the second half to double the advantage. And that is where things stand. The ball there wide to Caraballo. Hounded defensively by Diakite. It'll be a throw in for Carolina Core. City B, there have been long junctures in this match. Saw a lot of it in the first half where they have at times struggled to just consistently advance the ball past the halfway line. So the compactness of the shape defensively for Carolina Core, not allowing many passing lanes to be opened. Orlando City B trying to change that. How about that for a ball over the top? Sarajan able to pull it down. Hold up play now, connecting with a teammate. They'll get it back to Sarajan. Laid off by Sopanoglu. Inside it's Bashevsky from distance. That'll go sailing wide. Although it doesn't result in a real dangerous chance, that perhaps one of the better ventures into the final third today for Orlando City B. They haven't been able to use their vertical game as much as they would like. David Diaz looking for the give and go back to Diaz, instead headed out of play. And Dylan Judelson making his second appearance of the season, has started both matches for OCB. Ball ahead on the switch to Yearwood over on the far side. Caraballo now turns away from pressure. They are starting to get Yearwood over on the right-hand side, higher and higher up the pitch. You see him over on the far edge of your screen. They're trying to get those fullbacks high and help create in the attack. Just haven't had many attacking opportunities today. The Lions have not. Diaz is able to dislodge that ball. Sumo Jr. though gives it right back away. Ryan over to Bishevsky. Bishevsky played it forward. Thought he had Ellis. Instead given right back up. And in stride, here's David Diaz. 19 appearances, 3 goal contributions during the 2024 season for Ventura County FC. David Diaz, 58 in blue. Also appeared in VCFC's playoff fixture that season. Ryan will have this throw in here at the bottom of your screen. Ryan, a high riser through this system as well. Played a good amount of minutes last year for Montenegro and Orlando City B. Over 1,020 appearances. Was an academy player, signed to an ex-pro deal mid-season. Also was on the bench during Orlando City's 2025 Leagues Cup run last year. Jair Caiza forcing the turnover, now steered ahead. Here's Dylan John, surveys his options. To Diakite. Jackson now calling the shots from goal. Poor distribution though. Jumping on it is OCB. Here's Ellis now. The hold up, connecting. Caraballo fires it over the bar. It's a beautiful build up and it's spectacular link up on the edge of the box. That's one Caraballo is going to want to have back. The best chance Orlando City B have had to get on the score sheet today. High Point University is the premier life skills university, attracting students from all 50 states and 50 countries. Discover why families are flocking to HPU at www.highpoint.edu. Carolina Corps' own Antonio Pineda. He knows very well about High Point. Was at High Point in 2018, transferred to West Virginia, elected to transfer back to High Point. It's been his final 2 collegiate seasons. He said last year that it feels like the program they have at High Point really prepares you to be a professional. But also, he was so excited to get a chance to return and play professional soccer here in High Point, North Carolina. Pineda getting the start today, but coming off early due to injury. Meanwhile, here's Orlando City B on the prowl now. Titus Sandy Jr. He'll switch it. Diagonal ball cut wide. Amu Mensah, who had just subbed on for Orlando City B. First change of the day. Pull it in and reset things. we are starting to see Orlando City B. Doesn't always have to be the long pass forward, but they are starting to find more of those switching passes in this half. Here's Sarajan now, just forcing his way in. Sarajan off the side netting, and that goes out. Meanwhile, a Core FC defender is down. Harvey Sarajan, he's a player that Julian Vergara couldn't stop talking about this week when we caught up. His exact words were, quote, "He's been great." Called him coachable, likable. They love the way he just puts his head down and he works, and that's a prime example of what Vergara and this OCB coaching staff are talking about. Trainers will come on to assess the injured Carolina Core defender. It is Nathan Brown who is slow to get back to his feet. Ultimately does walk across that boundary line to take a seat as the trainers will check on him. Two changes being made by Carolina Core FC. Jesus Ibarra will come on, and joining him is Tim Zegers, the native of the Netherlands, second appearance of the year. For both of those players, Ibarra and Zegers playing 19 and 20 minutes respectively last match week against Atlanta United. Jesus Ibarra, one of the aforementioned 5 returners from a season ago. He's an exciting player for Carolina Core. Donovan Ricketts last year was very thrilled to bring him over mid-season after spending part of 2025 with Chattanooga FC. Ultimately agreed to a contract termination with the Boys in Blue. Made 11 appearances, scored 1 goal for Chattanooga, and then 7 appearances, 3 goal contributions for Carolina Core FC. He's a player that at that forward spot, I want to try to get him going this year. Core FC will. The injured Nathan Brown able to continue on. He was one of the 2 players subbed out on that dual change for Donovan Ricketts. And play now back underway. Here's Montenegro, has the only goal so far in this half. The give and go. Back to Ricardo Montenegro. David Diaz to Montenegro. Slid inside to Tim Zegers. Cross stood up. The target flying in there was Dylan John. Couldn't put that ball towards said target. And Orlando City B will have a throw in. These 2 teams, it won't take long for their second meeting of the season, April 19th. Just 3 MLS Next Pro fixtures away from this matchup. One that has on the scoreline and all the major stats, shots on target, touches in the penalty area, corners as well, have been dominated by the Foxes. But it has been, despite conceding a goal in this second half, an improved effort for OCB. Here they are on the move again. It's Sarajan looking for the angle to cross, and instead it's cut out by Zegers. A corner given. Just the second corner of the evening coming up here for Orlando City B. They were a good corner team last year. 4 goals scored off corners. Caraballo swings it into the mixer. Glancing header to the far post. Knocked down by Ryan. Second ball served in. Still ricocheting around. Now served back in. Here's Caraballo. Caraballo looking for space. Caraballo deflected on its way through. It'll stay here. Another corner for Orlando City B. The young Lions starting to ask some questions here late in this second half of Carolina core. Caraballo continuing to just try to open up space, and ultimately deflected out off of Kaiza. Second one, Caraballo right in front, still loose, and consecutive corners now. Caraballo this time drives it off the side netting, and out it goes. CIBC is the official wealth management partner of Carolina Core FC. Orlando City B will use this opportunity to make one more change. Matthew Belgadere will make his second appearance of 2026. Came on in the second half of the team's loss in the opener against Huntsville City. Jackson drives it away on the goal clearance, and play is back underway. It's been rather a much better half for Orlando City B in terms of retaining possession of the ball. They're not a super big possession team, 27th in MLS Next Pro, as here comes Dylan John, and they're able to turn the pitch on its head and win themselves a corner. Core FCR. That's 64% possession so far in the second half for Orlando City B. Any coach will tell you, though, it doesn't matter if you hold on to the ball for 100% of the time. If you don't do anything with it, that's what matters. And so far, Orlando City, despite their 3 shots, have not been able to put one on frame. Rembo will have it once more on a set piece here for Core FC. He's done a good job of getting them organized today on these corners. He shorts it. Served on a platter as Sandy Jr. attacks the header. Clearance falls to Diakite. Dylan John now. Back out wide. Coming around the area. Slid over. Looking to combine was Evers, and instead Evers puts that into the hands of Juan Rojas. Two goals conceded by Juan Rojas, but 4 saves. All 4 of them coming in the first half for the young Juan Rojas. He was a player that at the beginning of the year, Manu Goldberg had said that you can just tell by looking at him as a player, but also his personality, it makes him a potential future starting keeper at the highest level of sport in this country. Seems like he has a really good head about him, very calm. You have to have a strong personality in the role of goalkeeper, said Manu Goldberg, as they switch it again to the far side. Cut inside, Sarajan slots it in! And no. A good ball here to Sarajan, and Sarajan off the layoff, able to cut it past Trevor Jackson and pull one back for Orlando City B. The hot start continues to 2025 for Harvey Sarajan. Now his 3rd goal contribution of the season. Makes things very interesting here for Orlando City B, who had been pressing hard, trying to find that elusive goal, and they finally have it. This hit from distance toward goal and just goes sailing wide. City Bees, number 23. The 5th overall pick in the Super Draft, Harvey Sarajan, giving them life in this second half. OCB with all the momentum now riding in half number 2. They gave up the early goal in the 48th minute, Ricardo Montenegro finding the back of the net. But much like we saw from Carolina Core in the opening 45 minutes, here in the second 45 minutes, Orlando City B, they have done well to grow into this contest. No Pedro Leal, no Zachariah Taifi, no Colin Gusky. Today, Gusky, in fact, has been with the Orlando City first team basically all MLS season. He leads all players rostered with this OCB squad for 2026 with first team appearances, 2, 1 start. Vergara had said just trying to keep this team focused despite all the changes. Now giving up, here's Diaz looking for the cutback. And plenty of changes. Javier Otero as well in goal, not with the team. With the first team as Max Crepeau serving out the red card suspension today against CF Montreal. That one knocked away from Justin Ellis. Orlando last season, they were good in late moments of the second half. 7 goals in second half stoppage time, 3 of which came across the final 8 games. We are closing in on these final 10 minutes of this contest. Just 15 of OCB's goals last year scored in the first half. All the rest coming in half number 2. They were undoubtedly a second half team last year under Manu Goldberg. Back on it again is Ellis. Ellis, good ball ahead. It's Sarajan. Forces a quick recovery from Arbaugh. OCB, they smell blood in the water, trying to move quick with it now. They short it into Caraballo. Now tucked inside. They found Belgadere. His cutback pass cut out. Kaiza able to win a whistle. Now Jair Kaiza will stay down after said whistle. Harvey Sarajan in the 75th minute scoring the goal for Orlando City B, second of the season. 2 goals, 1 assist for the former Wake Forest Demon Deacon. Wake Forest, a college program that they can produce so much. Issues here at the back, open net, and it's rolled in! All level! Justin Ellis silencing the crowd in High Point. Does it again to the Foxes. His second goal in 4 matches against Core FC. Trevor Jackson's been so good today, but this just a mistake. Falling asleep and giving it away to OCB. Two unanswered for the visitors from Orlando. Julian Vergara, he said the goals this week, because of all the changes, Manu Goldberg heading up to the first team, they knew they'd be without some players, as is typical in MLS Next Pro with first team call-ups and roster movement. He said the goal was to just keep this young team focused on the task at hand, but also capitalize on the opportunities when they have them. They didn't do it in the first half. They have righted those wrongs here in the second half. Now, though, Core FC looking to answer this run from OCB. It's Montenegro, 1 goal today. Too much behind that pass in toward Caiza. And a goal kick here for Juan Rojas. Things have flipped on its head in a hurry here in High Point. Goals 5 minutes apart for Orlando City B in the 75th and the 80th minutes. Justin Ellis bagging his 2nd of the season. And now the question becomes, can Orlando City B grab a 3rd and perhaps steal all 3 points on the road? Countering now are the Lions. And a late whistle here from Lauren Aldrich. A yellow handed out to Mohamed Diakite.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention please. A yellow card has been issued by the referee to Carolina Core FC number 16, Mohamed Diakite, in the 82nd minute.
Orlando City B just 2 shots on target in the first half. They had 12 total shots. Same amount of shots on target here in this second half, but they have been much more clinical with their opportunities as of late. Here in half number 2. Strong toss in from OCB and finally finds the feet of Bernardo Ryan. Now here's Belgadere. There's support on the overlap in Ellis. Still Belgadere now. Belgadere's effort blocked. Worked back out wide from Judelson. Here's Ellis, who stands up across. He was trying to target both Sarajan and Caraballo. And instead Dylan John comes up with it for Core FC. Maybe a throw here. And it's going tumbling down was Dominik Bashevsky for Orlando City B. And our center referee will go check on his status. Fox's throw in will be held for a moment. And Orlando City making another change here. Caleb Trombino, the Orlando City Academy player, will come on in that defensive midfield spot. Able to spell Dominik Bashevsky. Trombino, a young player with a lot of promise. You can say that about almost anybody that comes out of the Orlando City Academy. It's the reason why they're one of the best academy systems in all of MLS. But Trombino, a handful of youth international caps with the US U16s since 2024. Organization was a big theme in half number 1. Core FC, they were organized on both sides, but their speed prevented Orlando City from staying organized at times, and their aggressiveness did. OCB, they've been able to figure that out here in this second half. This young team of the Lions showing real adaptability. Here's Belgadere. Ellis now wanting to play Sarajan through, unable to do so, and Jackson will toss it out to jumpstart this counterattack. One of the biggest things that Manu Goldberg had reiterated at the start of 2026, is that their biggest focus for Orlando City B in the preseason was making this team uncomfortable. So it's not just about understanding the word uncomfortable. You have to live it, what you're willing to give up, how hard you're willing to push. One of the reasons Manu Goldberg was so insistent upon that, he says making young players uncomfortable gets the best out of them. They were uncomfortable, Orlando City B was, in the first 45 minutes. Here is Carolina Core, and a dangerous cross in. Uncomfortable no longer. This is their ball game. They are in control of it. 2 unanswered goals. Here comes Sarajan. The hero so far had a goal in the 80th minute. Cross cut out by Carolina Core. David Diaz gets past one defender. Diakite now. Here's Jesus Ibarra. The give back to Montenegro. Now forward, Ibarra turns. It's Dylan John. John rolls it across goal. Titus Sandy Jr., an emergency clearance. It'll stay here. Core FC will have a throw in. Carolina Core. Last year, 8 goals scored in the final 10 minutes of matches. Trying to rescue all 3 points. They were in control for most of this match. And now here's a whistle from Lauren Aldrich. Yearwood surveying. They've dropped him back down. He had been playing very high on that right-hand side throughout this contest. Caraballo will have the throw and finds Yearwood off of it. These actions from Orlando City B in half number 2, the way they've been able to move Carolina Core side to side, it's creating openings over the top, just like this, as Ellis runs it down. Still Justin Ellis now, still Ellis. Knocked off his boots, it's Sarajan settles, back to Judelson, whose effort blocked. Now John, no choice but to just put that ball out of play. Core FC trying to catch their breath for a moment. As a reminder, should this contest finish level at the end, at the full-time whistle, we will head to penalties directly after. Trombino able to work that ball loose, and now here's another whistle from Lauren Aldrich, and this will be a free kick for Orlando City B, plus a card handed out.
Ladies and gentlemen, the fourth official of the site
5 minutes of stoppage time here at the end of this 90 minutes. Orlando City a season ago, they were the league's best team in stoppage time with the 7 second half stoppage goals.
Today's attendance is 4,016. Thank you, Carolina Core fans.
4,016, so says the public address announcer here at Truist Point Stadium for this opening fixture of match week 3. They've been treated to a good one. Core FC got out to a 2-0 lead, the 31st and 48th minute. It's 2 unanswered right now for Orlando City B. Could it be another? No penalty given. A giveaway at the back though. Ryan dragged down. Here's OCB on it now. Belgadere over to Judelson. Edge of the area, it's Caraballo, through to Ellison! Pushes it wide. He has one so far in the 80th. Thought he had another. That's the second time that Orlando City B have gone wide of goal on what looked to be a surefire effort. Caraballo earlier in this second half had a chance to open the scoring for Orlando City B, could not. And now Justin Ellis replicating the same result, going wide of the far stick. A yellow card handed out to the Orlando City technical area just before Trevor Jackson restarting play. OCB, they were incensed. They felt like they should have had a penalty. There have been a couple times that they have made their displeasure known on a lack of a whistle. Montenegro able to keep the ball in. Here's David Diaz now. Diaz, the cut back inside, deflected away, still with it Montenegro. Zegers, Diakite. Aiza resets. Here's Orball. Whips it ahead. Back on it is Core FC again. Here's Ricardo Montenegro. His cross in. Cut off there by Juan Rojas. Rojas forward. Able to find Caraballo. Very solid first touch from Gustavo Caraballo, who's still on it now. Makes one defender a second miss and draws a whistle from Lauren Aldrich. Another yellow handed out, this time to Jair Kaiza. Just grabbed a hold of the shirt of Gustavo Caraballo, who stands over top of this ball. This could be one of the final kicks of this contest before we head to penalties. Orlando City B had a dangerous set piece in the first half. Caraballo drives it in, headed toward goal, it's in! Caleb Trombino, the super substitute, has snatched all 3 points for Orlando City. Unbelievable. On the final kick of the game, Trombino opens his account, and Orlando City are riding high in High Point. From down 2-0 to up 3-2. Orlando City B moments away from making it back-to-back wins. The Foxes will have one last chance at the restart.
59, Caleb Trombino.
Taken away here by Ellis. And a whistle from Lauren Aldrich as the official will end the opportunity for OCB. Carolina Core, they'll drive this one forward, hoping for a prayer to be answered. Rambo couldn't take the touch. There is the whistle, and a stunner in Central North Carolina to open match week 3. Orlando City B snapping an 8-match road winless stretch dating back to last year, and they do so thanks to today's man of the match presented by Adidas. Who else but Caleb Trombino? 90+5 second half stoppage time, snatching his first goal of the season and stealing all 3 points from Carolina Core. The Young Lions roll into High Point, and they pick up their second consecutive win. They down Carolina Core 3-2. For our entire broadcast team, I'm Jake Griffith. Once again, our final score, OCB 3, Core FC 2. Don't forget, you can watch MLS Next Pro all season long at MLSNextPro.com and OneFootball. Good afternoon from North Carolina.
This copyrighted broadcast of Major League Soccer may not be retransmitted, reproduced, or rebroadcast without the express written consent of Major League Soccer.